Ladies and gentlemen, black and white with Brian Rundle and Lana Quest. We are 90 minutes away from maybe the most anticipated debate in the history of presidential debates. I think we could go back to 2016 when Hillary and Donald Trump first debated. That was highly anticipated, but I think this one is different. It is different in many ways. And one of the main ways is that now we know who Donald Trump is. We know who this guy is. We know what to expect from him. Back then, you didn't know what to expect from Donald Trump. And it was a whole different scene. But now you know what to expect. And the stakes are as high as they could possibly be. So we are 90 minutes away from the debate. So I wanted to do a quick preview show and give a few predictions on what I think is going to happen. I spoke to Lana a little bit earlier today. We did not anticipate on doing a show tonight because of the debate. I'm probably going to do one tomorrow night. I don't think Lana's going to be able to join me, but I think she is going to join me here shortly in this debate preview. Obviously, anybody that is watching, first of all, please like, subscribe, share. We would appreciate all of that stuff. My boy Constance is here. Hey, man, it's good to see you. I'm glad you were able to join us. It's an exciting night, no matter who you are voting for. I think at this point, all the people who are Harris voters are very excited about Kamala, and they think that this is going to be a no-brainer and it's going to be a big win for her. I think a lot of the people who vote for Donald Trump think the same thing. I think their thought process is that Donald Trump is the king of debating, that he will run all over her, and he will have a presence on that stage that at the end of it, there will be no doubt that he won the debate. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. I'm going to give some predictions a little bit later. But like I said, we're going to preview this a little bit first. We would love anybody that's watching, please throw in some comments. Let me know what you think is going to happen tonight. I think it's going to be extremely interesting, and it's probably going to be the highest rated debate in the history of debates. But I was talking to Lana a little bit earlier, and we were discussing what we thought was going to happen tonight. We also thought about some of the subjects that they were going to talk about tonight. And I think one of the very first ones is going to be the economy. So what we believe as Kamala Harris voters and people who are going to watch the debate tonight and feel like she is going to be the one that wins it hands down, what we feel is that Trump has really very little to attack her on, because whatever it is they attack her on, she has a counterattack on it. So the first one is going to be the economy. They're going to bring up the inflation. They're going to bring up everything about the economy. So breaking that down, we hear the question all the time: are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And if we look at what was going on 4 years ago, the answer is clearly yes. I know it's difficult for a lot of people to answer yes to that question who are Donald Trump voters. But if you look at the statistics, if you look at everything that happened when he was president, and what the economic statistics were at the time when he was president, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty at all. In fact, when he left losing 2.7 million jobs when he left office. And that is the worst in modern presidential history. Unemployment was 6.4%. It actually peaked at 14.8% during his presidency. Now, when he took office, the unemployment rate was 1.7% higher than when he left office, when he took it over. So it was lower when he took it over, 1.7% higher when he left office. Now, believe it or not, that was still lower than the two presidents before Obama, or actually the two Republican presidents before him, Bush 1 and Bush 2, when they left office, the unemployment rate was higher than when Donald Trump left office. But you go back, I mean, if you really truly look at the numbers, look at all economic numbers from Reagan on. And from Reagan on, every single economic number when that president left office was better than when the Republican took over and then left office. Every single one. The economy, the unemployment rate, jobs, everything. Bill Clinton actually left office with a surplus, one of the very few presidents in history to leave office with zero deficit and actually left money for the next president, who was George W. Bush. So he promised he promised a trade deficit that actually went up when he left office at 36.3%. It was going up actually before COVID. The federal debt went up from 14.4 trillion to 21.6 trillion. The manufacturing jobs that he promised that he was going to bring back, there was 178,000 fewer manufacturing jobs when he left office. So economic growth, he promised between 4 and 6% of economic growth, and he never exceeded 3%. That was even before COVID. And when he left office, the economic growth was a negative 2.2%. So listen, here's one thing that I'm willing to admit, but here's the problem. I'm willing to admit it, but are the Trump people willing to admit the same thing? What I'm willing to admit is all these numbers that happened in 2020 clearly happened because of COVID. No question about it. Whether it was Donald Trump, Barack Obama, George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, Ronald Reagan, whoever you want to throw in there in 2020, whoever the president was in 2020, these economic numbers would have been very similar. They would have all been the same. And COVID was the catalyst behind all of it. Now, a lot of people on the Trump side are now going to blame Joe Biden for any economic numbers that happen subsequent to that. But see, it doesn't really work that way. It doesn't work that when one guy leaves office and the other guy takes over office, that economic numbers are bad just because he took over. There are nuances. There are reasons why some of these things happen. And if you're not willing to consider those reasons for Joe Biden, then why would we consider him for Donald Trump? I would do it because I'm reasonable and I'm logistical and I understand how the economy actually works. What Joe Biden took over was an unmitigated disaster. And unfortunately, because of what was going on with COVID, the numbers were just they were just going to get worse. No matter, again, same thing. Doesn't matter who the president was. It could have been Trump. It could have been Biden, could have been Obama, could have been Clinton, could have been, no matter who it was. If you took over 2020 and after COVID, you were going to see a decline in economic numbers. It was just a fact, because this did not just happen in the United States. It happened globally. It happened everywhere across the world. So if you take that into consideration, and you're being fair, if you want to be fair in this whole thing, then you have to give Joe Biden a little bit of a pass. And not only a pass, but you got to give him a lot of credit for how he handled the post-COVID economy. What happened under Joe Biden's watch really is unprecedented. What he did, let me take that back, under the Biden-Harris watch, because here's what we're also going to hear tonight. There's going to be a lot of blame on Kamala Harris on a lot of the things during the administration that, again, shouldn't be blame, but they're going to shape it as if it were the economy was terrible and it was Kamala Harris's administration and she was in charge and she was the vice president, so she takes blame. So if that's the case, then we're also going to give her credit for Biden's record of the administration post-COVID. And what Biden did post-COVID was nothing short of remarkable. It truly was remarkable, because post-COVID, he was one of the very few of the countries that were affected by COVID. First of all, inflation rate got up to 9.1%. Other countries got significantly higher than 9.1%, but ours got to 9.1%. And during that time period, not only did Joe Biden re-add the 2.7 million jobs that Donald Trump lost due to COVID in that time period, he got those jobs back and added an additional 12 million jobs on top of that. Now, before you hit me with the, oh, what about that one report where they faked the jobs report? First of all, they didn't fake the jobs report. What happens sometimes is that these numbers get so jumbled up that every once in a while, the labor board who counts these jobs sometimes miscounts them. And guess what? Guess it happened during the Trump administration. They miscounted 500,000 jobs during the Trump administration. So on occasion, this happens. And what they do is they correct it. Some people will go, Biden was giving false jobs, and that's why everything looks so good. I mean, just logistically think about that. Take a second and think about that logistically. If Joe Biden told the Labor Department to add these jobs, then why would Joe Biden not stop them from reporting that they got jobs wrong? I mean, can you at least agree with me on that? Can you agree with me that this was not done? It wasn't a shady deal. It wasn't nefarious what Joe Biden and the administration was doing. Sometimes these labor boards, whatever, they get things mixed up every once in a while, and some things happen and they correct it. So they came out and they corrected it. But again, back to what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's administration did, they got the jobs back. The unemployment rate was under 4% for 2 straight years, which had not been done in 50 years. The GDP growth got all the way up at one point over 5%, something Donald Trump promised he was going to do. Wages went up. And what wages did, wages was outpacing inflation. Generally, what happens is in a pandemic or anything that happens that would help ruin the economy is jobs will be lost. You would see an unemployment rate that would be high. During the COVID recovery, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's administration did nothing but add jobs month after month after month after month. And for, like I said, 2 straight years, under 4%, which had not been done in 50 years. You have to give this administration credit for doing a phenomenal job of steering through the pandemic, where countries are still to this day suffering from the ramifications of what COVID brought to their countries. So again, if you want to give the pass to Donald Trump on his numbers in 2020, which I am willing to do, I am 100% willing to give him the pass. But I'm asking you, if we're talking, I hear this a lot, is that both sides really need to sit down and talk. They can't have this rhetoric. They can't yell at each other. My boy Constance, I think he was, forgive me, I'm assuming you're a he. If you're not, I apologize. But, when he would put comments into the comment section, it was very contentious and we would go back and forth. But we now seem to have at least an understanding that, again, we're just 2 human beings and we want to talk things out. So in this respect, what I'm asking any Trump person that really wants to have a serious conversation and you really want to talk this out, let's be fair on both sides. Joe Biden and the economy is, again, nothing but remarkable. Stock market, all-time high. S&P, all-time high. Everything economically under Joe Biden has been nothing but remarkable. The one thing right now that I will tell you personally affects me the most is the interest rates. Joe Biden does not control interest rates. Joe Biden does not control gas prices. People will go, well, Donald Trump, the gas prices were lower because we were energy independent. Again, if you want to be fair, you can look this up yourself. We are currently under the same definition of what you guys want to call energy independent. We are more energy independent now than we have ever been in the history of this country. Right now is we are the most energy independent we have ever been. So do we all want to be fair? Do we all really want to talk this out? Or do we just want to take sides? And do we just want to go, I love Donald Trump because he calls out libtards. I mean, really, if that's why you're voting for somebody, I'm asking you to please just step back for a second and say, maybe this is not the right reason to vote for somebody, because my future is going to depend on who the president is this time. And Donald Trump has made it clear. He's made it clear that he wants to jail his political opponents. Now, what you're going to say to me is like, oh, isn't that what Biden's doing to Trump? That is absolutely not what Biden is doing to Trump. Biden has absolutely nothing to do with any of the indictments of Donald Trump. Donald Trump has everything to do with all of the indictments on Donald Trump. I will beg anybody to please, at least, out of all the cases, just one of them, please read the indictment of the classified documents case. Read that indictment and explain to me how Donald Trump is not guilty in that case. It's very simple. He had documents. Hey man, we know you got these documents. We need them back. He said, I don't have them. And they're like, Jesus Christ. You have them. We just need them back. And let's just end this. He's like, no, I don't have them. They gave him 1 year, and continue to say, we need these documents back. Finally, he comes out and says, they're my documents. I'm president. I can do whatever I want with them. And they're like, nope, that's not how that works. You have to give them back. You need to give these documents back now. So he lied about having them. Then he lied about, they were his and he could do whatever he wants with them. Then he was moving boxes out of his house, trying to evade people getting the boxes back. They went in. They announced to him that we are coming to your house and we are going to get our boxes and our documents back. This is not a joke. We have got to get these classified documents back. They waited till he was out of town. They go in, they get the documents, and it's pretty clear that this guy broke the law for anything just by lying to the FBI and telling them, I don't have the documents, and he clearly did, and then moving them to his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. So I would encourage anybody, please, just go watch and read that indictment, and then come back and tell me where and how I'm wrong. And I promise you, I'll look at it. Before I go any further, I want to catch up to some of the comments that my boy Constance is making here. From what I understand, they did set up a lot of rules. This is about the debate for it, so probably won't be crazy like the debates in 2016 and all. It should be interesting. I can agree with that in a way. I think it's going to be, we saw it with Joe Biden, right? That Trump really couldn't talk when Biden was talking. So, I think you're going to have a more controlled debate as far as talking over each other. I mean, obviously that's going to be the case because, we saw that in the debate with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. What I think Kamala Harris should do, and I think it will work, is because she wants the mics on, because the thought is that Donald Trump is so unhinged that he won't be able to control himself. So for this woman, black woman, to call him out and say, look, I'm happy to have the mics off. Your team obviously knows that you can't be controlled, so they begged for the mics to be off, that he might right there, this is my first prediction, by the way, if she does this, right there said, I don't care, turn the mics on right now. And then maybe change the rules right there in the middle of the debate. That's a possibility. Let's go back to a couple of the more comments. I seen your cat back there. Looks like an awesome one. Got an orange and white tabby too. That's Ray Lewis, my cat, big Miami Hurricanes fan. And of course, you know, he just looks like a Ray Lewis. So, and I'm happy to report, and I don't even know what the fuck's going on with this story. Somebody explain it to me. Apparently, Haitians are invading the United States and eating people's pets and cats. And not only is it crazy that we're talking about this, but it's crazy that the potential vice president of the United States is tweeting this out. Do I have this correct? Am I crazy? Is this really happening in our country where we're making up stories where Haitians are coming in and eating pets? My pet, Ray Lewis, is just fine. Yeah, we're going to be feeling the effects of COVID, ruin the world's over. Yes, thank you for agreeing. Because again, I know we have some differences, but again, I appreciate your input. And again, I do love hearing from the other side. I want to hear why you think the way you think, and what is it about what I'm thinking that is incorrect, or maybe something, and not even necessarily incorrect. Why is it different? You know, what differences do we have, and why do we have these differences? And is there any way we can come to some sort of agreement on some things? Let's see here. Let's say my real name is Jesse. I'm using my mom's phone, but yeah, I'm a man. Yes. Okay. That's right. Jesse. Thank you, Jesse, for clearing that up. We're both Americans, dude. So Allison, all the people in this country got to figure it out. We're still going to be stuck here 10 years and later, and hopefully so we get to play the long game back. And as long as no classified information was compromised. Yeah, I mean, and I'm afraid, you know, and we may have a difference of opinion on this, but um, I, I don't know how much I trust Donald Trump to not share these documents with other countries. I am far from a conspiracy theorist, but I do also believe that Donald Trump does not give a fuck. I really do believe he doesn't care about this country. I think he cares about himself. I think at this point, all he cares about is running for president and keeping himself out of jail. But going back to the debate, so first of all, they're going to attack the economy. Then the next thing is going to be immigration. First of all, I want to make clear on my side. I've said this before. Immigration is certainly an issue, and it's been an issue in this country, not since Joe Biden took over, but for decades. There's never been a solid solution on how to handle the immigration issue that we have in this country. That being said, for me personally, immigration is not even in my top 10 issues. I think it is manufactured to make us believe that this is something that has got to be one of our top issues. It's been done so well that they're going to make it in this debate one of the top issues. So I want to make it clear. I'm not saying it's not an issue, and I'm not saying that there are not people that are not affected by it. Most of the people affected by it are the immigrants, are the ones coming in. But they're going to make you think that it's the Americans that are affected by it for a few reasons. Donald Trump has said recently that 100% of the jobs given recently have been to undocumented immigrants. That is absurdly ridiculous. And if you can listen to that and go, oh my God, that is so true, then I worry for you. If you don't stop for a second and go, that doesn't sound right. 100%. I don't even think it's 10%, but let's say it is. It's definitely not 100%. That's absurd. And again, for you to listen to this, because he doesn't just tell lies. He tells lies so incredibly grand that at some point you got to stop and go, is he clowning me? Is he just trying to make me look like a fool at this point? He wants my vote for the future of this country based on 10 to 12 million immigrants that have busted in this country over the last year. That is 100% not true. In fact, I saw an interesting statistic on when Donald Trump was president. His first year apprehensions were way down. I mean, way down. And he had he was going to do the Muslim ban. So initially people were like, this guy gets it. He knows exactly how to stop immigration. In fact, it got all the way down to 250,000 people apprehensions, which is extremely low. So whatever, if you want to look just at the number and say great job, you could do that. How he did it, that's up for debate as to whether or not you want to say it was a great job. But the following year, that nearly doubled at 466 apprehensions. 2019, it got up to nearly 800,000 apprehensions, which was the most since 2007. So this idea that Donald Trump took over and stopped immigrants from coming to this country, that is a farce. That did not happen. In fact, that was higher than Obama's. That was, and it went all the way back to George W. Bush's administration. So this idea that he is some master at immigration and stopping people from coming over, that's simply not true. It went down in 2020 simply because of COVID, and there were COVID restrictions. He was finally able to pass some sort of legislation that stopped immigrants from coming into the country based on COVID, which was more legitimate. I think any president would have done the same thing. You don't want people coming into this country when it's spreading a disease that's killing people. So that's why 2020 numbers were down. So the other thing about the border is that Kamala Harris is just going to look right over at him and say, we had a border bill. You killed it. You told your people not to do it because that's good for our administration. And what I'm going to do when I am president, I am going to sign that bill into law. That is going to happen. And she's going to look dead in the camera and she's going to tell the American people this. And it's going to resonate with some of the people who are on the fence. Constance is going to watch this tonight, no matter what happens, and he's going to vote for Donald Trump. I'm going to watch this tonight, no matter what happens. I'm voting for Kamala Harris. Holy shit. Look. Lana Quest. I was on a roll. I was on a roll.
Oh, keep going.
I don't even know what I was saying. I saw you come through and I was excited. So it looks like you got the workout in.
I got the workout in and I ran here. I didn't even shower. Sweet.
Look, we're not gonna take too much time because obviously we want you to get your shower in. We want you to be able to watch the debate. So what I was basically going over, I said earlier, Lana and I were talking on the phone and we were basically having a show on the phone. And at some point I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe we should save some of this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're right.
Like after 20 minutes, like,
I mean, we were going on and her and I could probably sit on the phone all night and talk this shit. But, so basically, Lana, here's a couple things. We're talking about what we expect from the debate tonight and maybe a couple predictions to end the show. But before you do that, I want you to gather some thoughts. I want to read a couple more comments. Lana, if you see to your right, if you're watching the comments, my boy Jesse has been in our comment section quite a few times and he opposes our side. For a while between Jesse and I, we had some contention and, you know how I am. I mean, if I hear people and they send comments to me and they're smart asses, I'm just a smart ass back. But somehow we smooth things out and we have gotten onto a level and a plane where we're like, you know what? Listen, you're on one side, I'm on the other. We could talk this out. And that's really what it's all about. Right, Lana?
Yeah. Cool.
So you gather some thoughts. I'm going to catch up on a couple more of his comments because if you do comment, I mean, listen, I appreciate anybody participating in the show. And because of your participation, I'd love to read your comments. But this is when I was talking about immigration. Yeah, some Mexican immigrants had ate a bald eagle, but Haitians are known for eating cats and dogs, unfortunately. And it's not always the best of another country's people that we get in here. But that's based on the conversation, Lana. That was bringing up the story that a vice presidential candidate is retweeting that Haitian people are coming into the country and eating people's pets, which just is simply not true.
That's who you smoothed it out with? More power to you. Like,
Listen, Lana, don't come in here and wreck the party.
yeah, I am, because
I know.
that's fucking offensive and absolutely ridiculous. Like, do
No,
you
you're right.
know
I
any
mean,
fucking Haitian people? Like, because I do, and that's not what they do. Like, stop playing,
well,
right?
that
That's
is true. Yeah, you're right, and that's why. Let's say
stupid.
that Yolanda is absolutely correct in this, in the fact that I told her before. Sometimes I read comments and I'm not comprehending what I'm reading. I need Lana to straighten me out, but she's absolutely right. Haitians don't come in here and eat pets, and they
Like,
don't
that's
eat animals.
it's fucking like, it's just so offensive, and it's like that divisive stuff, right? And it's like, again, we know that's a lie and it's stupid, but like you said, for a fucking candidate to be out here saying something like that, right? Like, because he's a constant reminder that Donald Trump is not a president for all. He doesn't fucking care about anyone. He cares about himself. He's not a president for whoever this racist is here. He's not a president for anyone.
No,
Like, 'cause
you're
why would you do that? Like, that means you don't care about people if you're telling lies that are gonna make fools like this one here, who you smooth it out with, say
well,
dumb shit like that. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I'm offended
yeah,
by
no,
that.
I 100% agree with you because again, I think sometimes, not only because in this country we've already had an issue with looking at other people who are Americans that are not like us that we have problems with. I think you really get that too with people who are from different countries that you just think, that they are these wild animals that come in here and rape and eat your pets and do all this crazy shit. And that
I've
obviously,
never heard that. Like, seriously, when do we hear, like, that's just another thing that they're putting out there so that the fools that follow MAGA just like swallow it up whole. Like, what the, where have we heard that? That's just so stupid. Hide your pet. Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like,
well, one of the things, Lana, I was talking
seriously.
about too before you came on here is that to take the time to maybe just when you hear something like this, do a little more investigation before you just spew off and say crazy shit about pets being eaten and like Donald Trump said that 100% of the jobs that were added recently were undocumented immigrants. I mean, that's insane to think.
Right. It
First of
doesn't
all, it's
even
insane to
100%.
say. It's insane to believe.
Right.
So, I don't know. You're right, Lana. You're absolutely right. But I was also talking about we were talking about immigration. I was going over some of the statistics, and Lana brought this up a couple weeks ago, and I think we were both mixing up something, and she was right on one respect. She was trying to say something. I was like, no, that's not right. But do you remember when we were talking about the immigrants that were coming into the country? And you were saying, isn't it higher under Trump than it was Obama? And I was like, no, it's actually, it was lower. But here's where I think the disconnect is that the apprehensions were higher under Donald Trump than they were under Obama. So it is close to the same thing. And you're right, is that, Donald Trump is known as this guy from keeping everybody away from the border and keeping people from coming in. Well, those numbers were down significantly in 2017, but they went up significantly. And in 2019, it was the most since 2007, the apprehensions. So, and the reason why I bring this up is because what we were talking about earlier, there are a few things that, that they're going to bring up in the debate tonight, and they're going to try to hit Kamala Harris on. And, how are they going to overcome all of the things that they're going to try to attack her on? And she's just going to be able to counter back on the economy. She's going to be able to counter back on the border, just like I said. Crime, they're easily going to be able to counter back on that. So, that being said, Lana, what are your thoughts? What do you think's happening tonight? How do you feel like it's going to go down?
Well, I mean, we kind of know. We talked about it, right? Like, He's going to lose it, like you said, early, right? Because he did lose it with Biden. And how do you lose your shit with Biden? So, like, it's like, so he's definitely going to lose his shit with Kamala for sure. Because the more facts and the more she's able to tell about her policy, tell who she is, her background, because she is from a middle class family. She didn't grow up with a silver spoon. Her daddy didn't give her millions of dollars. Like, she was raised by a single mom, and she went to college. She worked at McDonald's while she was in law school. Like, so she's going to get a chance to tell her story, and people are going to understand that. And he's going to get more and more pissed off about that. So, yeah. And I just, we're going to hear him not answer questions like he typically does. Like, it's just, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a simple question at this point, but what does she have to do tonight? Do you feel that she has to do? In my opinion, that's an easy answer, but what do you feel like she has to do?
According to me or according to the media? Like,
No,
it's
no,
too,
I don't. But you don't me. I don't give a fuck what the media
yeah,
says.
like, I
I
don't.
just I don't watch cable news. I don't care what they say. I'll be honest with you. Print media is starting to get on my fucking nerves too.
Right.
But
Right.
and again, because it's all based on how do we sell this? If every story is Kamala's just smarter and Kamala's going to dominate him, then what happens? They lose audience.
Right.
And not just they don't
Right.
just lose the Trump people, they lose the Kamala people because they're
Right.
like, well, this isn't a train wreck that I need to
Right.
see, so
Exactly. Exactly.
so what did according to Lana Quest, what does Kamala Harris need to
She
do
just
tonight?
needs to be herself, and hopefully she's not over prepared, because you don't want to sound like a robot out there, right? Like, sometimes when you're so smart like she is, you can sound like a robot. But I think that was the fear we had when, with Biden stepping down. And
Well, oh
could
yeah.
could she take over and appeal to people? And she stepped right in, and she did. So I don't. She just has to do what she's been doing, which is
Yeah, I think, part to what you're saying is too, is that, you said you don't want to over prepare. And I think we're a little bit jaded because we believe they over prepared Joe Biden.
correct.
And the difference here, though, is, and this is where Kamala is going to have a huge advantage. The difference is Joe Biden's still the president of the United States. The dude's running shit. And
Right.
then you got to take a 80-year-old man and fill his head with
Yeah.
a bunch of shit
Yeah.
that he's got to remember
Numbers.
that.
Stop.
And he even admits, he's man enough to admit, I can't debate like I used to. It's just not my thing. You want me to pick up the phone and call a world leader? I'm on it. I can handle that shit.
Right.
You want me to figure out how we can get the inflation down? I'm on it. We'll handle that shit. You want me to figure out how to add jobs? I'm on it. I'll handle that shit. But this fucking debate against this clown, it's below me. But
Right.
Kamala Harris has plenty of time to prep for this debate.
Yeah.
Not to mention, first of all, I think Kamala Harris could go in there and they could have told her the debate is tomorrow. They could have told her this months ago and said the debate's tomorrow. She's like, yeah, fuck it. That's all. I'm good. But for her to have time to prepare for it, for her to be a professional prosecutor, and you and I talked about this earlier, one thing I would like to see is for her to look dead in that camera most of the night, ignore him left or right, no matter what side he's on, and just talk to the American people, just like she does. You and I talked about earlier, those clips when she's talking to the people in these shops, and when she goes around and talks to these little girls, and they get so excited to talk to her and see her. That's the kind of Kamala Harris that, I should say, when we see tonight.
Right.
It's
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be almost impossible for people to come out of this debate tonight and go, man, Donald Trump is going to gain some points from this one.
No, he hits a ceiling. He gains nobody ever. The
Correct.
only thing that he is doing right now is saving face, because he couldn't say, no, I'm not going to do it, although he didn't want to do it. And that's all. He's not doing this to gain. He has nothing. He's not gaining anyone. Like, no one's going to be like,
I know you're a very smart person, and this is going to be. I had an easy question for you. Now I have a difficult one. The difficult question is there any scenario? And I know the answer is no, but try your hardest to figure out, is there a scenario where we come out tonight and go, oh man, that was not as good as I thought? What is that scenario that could potentially happen where you and I are doing a show tomorrow, later, or whatever, and we go, man, that one was rougher than I thought. I just like the Biden one. The Biden one, I came out of it, it was like, man, I didn't expect that.
But you could see it. Like you could see how it happened,
Sure.
right? Like you didn't.
That's why this one's a tough question.
I wouldn't expect that from her.
No.
You could see it from him because they over prepared him and he's too old. They didn't prepare him for who he is. Kamala, VP Harris doesn't have to be prepared on numbers. She doesn't have to be prepared on policy, reproductive rights, how reproductive stuff works, who's being hurt by reproductive. Like, he's a guy, he don't understand all of those ins and outs. He's an older guy. He really doesn't. The only thing she has to be prepared for is when he does X, when he does Y, when he mumbles under his breath, how to ignore it, how to let. That's what she's preparing for. I doubt if she's preparing on policy. She's probably preparing on what little clips to say about who she is and when to say it, and what she doesn't have to prepare.
So I think maybe the only scenario that we can come up with, or we might think it was rough, is that maybe Kamala Harris was not as prepared as we thought that she was going to be.
I'm not saying that.
No. I'm saying if there was a scenario, I know that's not going to happen. But if there was a scenario, I think that might be the only one, because I don't know if there's any credit we can give to Donald Trump. There's nothing that we can say that this is why he won the debate. Same thing with Biden. If we had to have thought about Biden, okay, if he loses the debate, why is it? It's not because Donald Trump was great. It was because something happened with Joe Biden. And I think if you and I had to be forced to come up with one scenario,
if she passes out on the stage and unable to go forward with speaking out of her mouth, is how she, loses the debate. But as long as she can speak and stand on that stage, she's going to win. She's a whole attorney. Why are we forgetting that? She chose that field because of what happened to her friend, and also because she's a good debater, because all attorneys like to talk. That's what they do. This is what they do it in the court, trying to prove their case. That's not going to be a problem. Even if she forgets some facts of her policy or any of those things, we won't know it, because she is crafted and gifted in moving smoothly into some other type of thing where you don't even know that she forgot and was lost in that. Stop playing with me.
Listen, I agree with you. I agree with you. Listen, because we're going to get into our predictions here in a minute, and that's pretty much going to clear up how, at least on my side, that there's a 0% chance she loses this debate. In fact, I've said on record before, and I will challenge anybody to this if you want to argue with me. Joe Biden didn't lose the debate to Donald Trump. Joe Biden lost the debate to himself, but he definitely didn't lose to Donald Trump. I know there are Trump people out there like, how the fuck could you say that? What are you, insane? Donald Trump did nothing. 0 to win that debate. He yapped. He lied. He said nothing but garbage. He did not win that debate.
No policy. He just, Democrats and the babies are aborting babies at 9 months. And even after they've given birth, they're aborting. What about childcare? What is your policy? What about immigration? It's just like, that's how that went. You want to take a wager on at what point does he start to turn and get really aggressive with her and start talking under his breath?
All right, so that'll be our first prediction. When will be the first time that and this isn't even an if, this is a when Donald Trump is going to stop trying to be the presidential guy. Can you see both my quotes?
Yeah, because that's what he's gonna do. He's gonna come. He's gonna talk all like low and slow because
Gonna try to be
he's
cool. He's gonna
weaving his
try to.
thoughts together.
Yep. All right. So it starts at 9 o'clock. I will say no later than 9:22.
No, I kind of agree. Like I
Wait,
can't
over
even.
or under 9:22?
Yeah, it's
Anybody out
not
there
going past
watching?
it. It's not going past 9:20.
All right. So
If he,
9:22.
yeah,
I need to write this down. All
if
right.
he
So
if he goes past,
9:22.
if he goes to 9:30 and he has not lost his shit and start mumbling under his breath, she hasn't gotten under his skin because they're already. I know we have to go soon, but like those ads that they're running already to like trigger him. Yeah.
Will they shake hands, Lana?
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
Wow. You think they will? I say they don't.
Okay.
All right. Let's. You know what? You and I.
I think she's gonna go to shake his hand.
Okay,
Because,
so we're gonna make
okay.
friendly bets just so we can have some bragging rights on the
Yeah,
next
sure.
show. All right, so you have yes. All right,
Yeah,
Lana has yes.
they'll call her an angry black woman if she doesn't try to shake his hand.
I have no. I mean, but who will? Who will do that?
Did Biden shake his hand or did they not?
No.
Was this? Oh wait, are we talking about afterwards or before?
Before, because normally, traditionally, they go and shake hands and then go to the podium. It's happened, I think, in every debate except for the Biden Trump debate. I don't think it might have happened. It might not have happened in one. Now, obviously, it didn't happen in the 2021 because of COVID. But thankfully, because that fucking asshole knew he had COVID and showed up to the debate anyway.
Yeah.
But Hillary and Trump may not have shook hands on the last one. I don't know that for sure, but will they shake hands? You say yes.
Yeah.
I say no.
They've never met. Like they haven't ever.
Right.
So that's why I think that they would shake hands because she has not met him. So I can't imagine like her not. Yeah.
I think Donald Trump would. I think he would only wait to see if she shook his hand because he'll look at that as a sign of weakness if he goes over and shakes that woman's hand.
Yeah, and it's strength if she shakes his hand. That's why I think she's gonna do it. Like she walk right up to that motherfucker and shake his fucking hand. Like I'm not scared of you. Like
I think if she does, she should do one of those where she just kind of does that half shake and then turns around. And walks
we're not playing that game. We're shaking hand. Let's do this shit.
Yeah,
they're gonna act like oh I'm petty. We're not. She's not pet. She's not a petty person.
No, so she's not.
Yeah, no, that's why
she's just smart, and that's just the bottom line. She's a smart woman, and I believe, when we go to these predictions, like I said, I think Trump people are going to be extremely well. First of all, I think the Trump people are going to be excited, regardless, because I think they've been programmed to be excited no matter what he says, no matter what he does. He's God. He's gonna. In their mind, he's already won the debate. Now, they'll say about us, well, you're saying the same about Kamala Harris. I think you're going to find that after this debate is over, few things. One, when they have those polls who won the debate, here's one. Will Kamala Harris in the polls, first of all, will they, yes or no, she wins the debate in most of the polls. So let's just say 3 of the main polls. You'll see a CNN, ABC poll.
And I'm gonna do another wager. Her fundraising tonight is gonna be sky high.
I agree with you. That's a good one. I agree. The next one is over under 65% of people say the consensus that she won the debate.
Wow.
So when they interview people, say there's 1,000 people they interview.
Are they but like Democrats and Republicans? Because people
just combined. So they're going to say how many people were asked, who won the debate, and then they're going to get the percentage of people who said yes and the percentage of people who said no. Yeah. Will the percentage of people who say yes be over or under 65%?
You said 65.
Yeah.
I'm thinking yes, be that she won the debate.
I agree with you. I think it's going to be in the 70s.
And I think so too, but I'm going to say 67. I have will Melania show up?
Oh, will Melania? She is promoting a book. What do you say? Yes or no? I'm going to take whatever the opposite you say, so you have a chance to learn.
I'm saying no. I'm saying she's just gonna keep going.
Damn it. That's the one I liked. All right. So I'm
Yeah.
stuck on yes.
Yeah,
Right.
she's gonna not come. She
So
didn't
Lana
go with
has
Biden.
no. I have yes. I mean, I think that that's a no-brainer. There's no fucking way she can't stand that fucking idiot.
Yeah,
But she is promoting a book. So
that is true, which would make. But then again, that may make her want to separate a little bit from what's going on in this. I don't know. Does he help
yeah, I
her?
don't know how her parents, unless she's holding
Does
up the book
he
the
read?
entire time.
Speaking of dumb, like they say they want to MAGA want to say Kamala's dumb. Can Melania even write a book? I mean,
Good point. I'm
who's
assuming.
writing that book? Because she definitely don't tweet. Those aren't.
Well, I'm
her
assuming
tweets.
it's very much like the same kind of person that wrote Donald Trump's book.
Exactly.
There's no fucking way he. In fact, I know he did. He had a ghostwriter write him.
Exactly. She's not even dictating that book. Like literally,
Right.
she said to somebody, "I want to write a book. You already know what's in my head. You know me. Just let me know some of the things that's in it." Like she's not writing a fucking book. Stop.
Right. Yeah. No question. I agree with you.
Oh, right.
Okay.
The woman who stole Michelle Obama's speech.
Right. Exactly.
You're writing
She's
the book.
Oh, how embarrassing. Hey, you remember that clip we played where Donald Trump stole the line from the movie Clueless?
Stop. It's like, and it's crazy because his supporters again are hidden from all of this information.
Yep.
Like they just don't know that these are things that actually happen. It's like it's not a lie. You get it?
Well, tonight will be decent exposure. It's not going to take anybody from the Trump side to vote for Kamala Harris. That's not happening. But again, it's still for these people who you and I and maybe even Trump people don't understand. Who the fuck are these people still on the fence?
Yeah.
Tell me again. Does Kamala Harris? I think this is an automatic yes. And I think we could both vote on this. But does she bring up the convicted felon and adjudicated rapist?
Yes.
I believe that too. And then so the final prediction here is going to be the overall outcome. What are the ramifications, Rana, that you believe happen overall from this point on? I think you mentioned one of them already was the fundraising.
Mm-hmm. She's going to go up and she's going to get a little bump in those polls.
Okay, so you say fundraising and a
little bump. It's not going to be, it's still going to be tight, but she's going to get a little bump in those polls.
So I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think that this is going to be so bad for Donald Trump tonight. It's going to be similar to what happened to Joe Biden after his debate. I think that after tonight, that Donald Trump is going to either do or say something so outrageously dumb or stupid that by tomorrow people are going to go, yeah, this race might be over. Because I truly believe that she is that good in goading him. One of the things that I hope that she can do, and I mentioned this before you got on, Lana, this is another sort of off the wall prediction, but I think she still wants those fucking mics on. And I think what she's going to do early is go, look, I'm happy to have these mics off, but his team knows that he cannot be controlled.
Absolutely.
So we have to turn these mics off, and it's going to drive him so crazy to say, go ahead and turn the mics on now, and they may change that shit right in the
they're not. They can't do that. But I don't think they can do that. If
they agree to it in the middle of the debate, why not?
I don't think they can do that. Isn't this stuff already set when they do it? I don't think they do that.
But it is also agreed upon by both the candidates, and both candidates agree to it in the middle of the debate. I believe it can happen. I don't see why not.
I don't know how that happens when you have to have your team and stuff. Like because if they can just change things in the middle of the debate, then they could just change all the rules at any time. Like I don't think doesn't sound like that.
I'll tell you what. Will you give me credit?
If it happens, yes.
Does say, well, let's say he does say, yeah, go ahead and turn the mics on, but they say we can't do it. Do I at least get credit for the
no?
But that's a good prediction.
Because I would agree with that. That he may say that if she says your handlers wouldn't even let you have blah, blah, blah. And he says,
Right.
oh, okay, we'll turn them on. And they say we can't. Like, I agree that could happen. I'm disagreeing that they will actually do it because
okay, but I'm saying is my main prediction is that she's going to goad him enough for him to say, "Go ahead, turn them on."
No, I agree with that. I agree. The only thing that I think won't happen is that they change the rules, because then that means that every debate we can change rules midstream. Like, I don't think they want that kind of thing to happen.
They may not be able to do that, but I'm throwing that out there as my bold prediction.
I can see it. No, he would do. Yeah, absolutely. Because she has to say that. She has to be your handler.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I believe that that's going to happen. We are 35 minutes away from the most anticipated debate. Lana, any final words before we go? No. Okay, everybody watching, do me a favor. Do Lana a favor. Hit the like button. Please subscribe to the show if you don't mind. Whether you like us, whether you hate us, just subscribe to it. Watch every once in a while. Maybe you could get on the comments and talk us into something. Maybe we can talk you into something. Maybe we could all come together and agree. That's really at the end of the day what this is all about. So let's all watch the debate. I don't know if Lana's going to be able to join me tomorrow night, but I'm going to do a post-debate thing tomorrow night. She might be able to, she might not. We'll discuss that at some point. I can't on Thursday because my Miami Dolphins play on Thursday night. So I want to get that in. But anyway, Lana is here. I want to tell everybody to go over to her channel, The Quest Show, and watch her show live. She usually does it on Thursday night. You could go back and watch her clips. You could go back and watch all the stuff she has done in the past. Certainly, I think at some point you'll do a debate recap.
I may do it Thursday. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So either way, just look out for it. If you subscribe to the show and you hit the bell button, all that bullshit, you'll get a notification to say, hey, Lana is doing a debate recap. So
yeah, I may do that Thursday.
All right. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for the comments, and we will see. I will at least see everybody. Please come back and see me tomorrow night. If I'm wrong, I promise you I'll admit it. But
yes.
I have a feeling Trump people aren't going to be happy tomorrow.
No, they're not. All right. I got to go shower.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much.
Good night. And Haitians don't eat animals. Goodbye.
The Haitians do not eat animals. And you know what? Most people don't either. So.
Or pets.
Right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.